Hello everyone, I'm Jake Remes. Welcome to a special edition of Tommie Media's Tommie Chalk Talk, where we go beyond the box score and take a closer look at St. Thomas sports. I'm joined today for a special National Championship edition by Tom Pitzen and Jesse Krull. So guys, St. Thomas has got another shot at the Mount Union Purple Raiders. They lost to them in the 2012 Stagg Bowl, but it's fair to say this is a markedly different team, Tom, certainly in terms of depth. This time last year, Tommie's offense was especially focused on using Dowdle. This year, it's a little bit more of a varied attack. What can you touch on in terms of the Tommie's depth this year, Tom?
Well, first off, let's go back to that 2012 game. Brenton Braddock, the starting running back for the Tommies, got hurt in the national semifinal against Wisconsin-Oshkosh, so Jack Kaiser had to kind of step up and fill that void. Jack Kaiser's a great running back, but he's certainly no Jordan Roberts. Jordan Roberts is a little bit more shifty. Jack Kaiser is just north-south runner. But back to this time last year, Charlie Dowdle was really the team's main offensive weapon in terms of throwing the ball. Now you look, Nick Waldvogel moves to the wide receiver position. You have Ryan Bradley with 6 touchdowns. Let's not even forget Wolfgang Dvorak, a seldom used tight end with 5 touchdowns this year. This is a team that's pretty deep. Jack Gilliland, too, we can't stress enough the return of Jack Gilliland, averaging like 18 yards a catch. Really that deep threat that this offense really needed.
Yeah, Mount Union's defense is going to require a balanced attack, certainly, to get some points on the board for the Tommies. So then, Jesse, this team has got 12 freshmen who are now seniors this year, who were in that 2012 Stagg Bowl and went through those sort of 2 down years for the program the last 2 years, and they're able to come back for this 4th and senior year. What does it say sort of about the nature of the St. Thomas program for them to come full circle like that?
Well, when you have a big kid like Dave Simon and an actual big kid like 6'9", 350, it's pretty important because he has that experience as a freshman when he got into the Stagg Bowl, and now he has that senior experience to kind of show the guys that I've been here as a freshman and now I'm here as a senior. And I have that type of experience to show you that we can do this. We messed up freshman year, but now it's senior year. Let's do this. They have juniors and seniors on the offensive line that had that experience over those 2 and 3 years. That's important, that experience, to get that varsity experience against these teams. And now you have Jack Gilliland, who also played an important role in that game. Not as big as an important role as he is now, but now he's going to be able to show his talents right now. On the defensive side, I'm going to be honest, it was kind of different. We really didn't show that freshman experience, but now these teams that were sophomores and juniors, and now they're seniors, and now they're going to get that experience on the defensive side. Anthony King-Foreman, obviously he's had a huge impact. And he really changed from being an outside linebacker last year to a defensive end, and he's really great to be able to experience and show that type of role that he's able to switch the positions and be able that type of player that can be able to switch those roles. Obviously, Jesse Addo wasn't on the team that year and everything like that, so he's pretty important. But the whole defense, Caruso said that we've had three new starters, but 7 new players have been in new positions this year.
Right. Well, upperclassmen leadership's huge for the mental standpoint, especially when you get deep in the playoffs at this point. And Tom, so we're coming into this game with the number 1, number 2 offenses. Both are averaging over 50 points per game, pretty ridiculous. Is this going to be a shootout, or do you think these defenses are stout enough to stand up against one another?
Well, Jake, this is, as you said, Mount Union is number 1 in total defense, number 1 in scoring defense, number 1 in scoring offense, number 1 in rushing defense, number 1 in sacks, and number 3 in total defense. In short, this team is really good.
Yeah, they're loaded, for sure.
But St. Thomas, the beauty of football is that it takes one time. You have to beat them one time. You're not playing them in a series. In the immortal words of Toby Keith, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I've ever been. St. Thomas has to beat them once. If you look back to that 2012 game, St. Thomas got behind by 2 touchdowns early on a blocked punt. Mount Union blocked a punt, ran it in for a touchdown. St. Thomas got behind early, managed to come back. But if they can really control that tempo and kind of keep it as a one-possession game, I think that bodes well for them. If you get down by 2 touchdowns, then you're forced to throw the ball. If you're in a 1-score game, you can hand it off to Jordan Roberts, hand it off to your workhorse, and control that battle and that time of possession.
Also, touch on that, too, is that they only allowed 35 yards, Mount Union did in the second half, and that's huge. If you're able to get that push and get more yards than 35, obviously you're going to have a better chance to win, too.
Right. So then, Jesse, they're facing Therese Scott, who is effectively the best captain of the most balanced and effective offense in Division III football. besides the Tommies, I believe they're number 1 in scoring on the year. So what is the St. Thomas defense in store for on Friday? Is it going to be do you think they're going to focus on the running game? They have a couple, 2-back set who were both effective against Whitewater last week. But what do you think the St. Thomas defense is going to see out of the Purple Raider offense?
They're going to see everything.
Yeah, they will.
I'll pretty much
don't
put it
doubt
that way. They're going to see everything. They got 2 wide receivers in Tim Kennedy and Roman Namdar that almost have 1,000 receiving yards. And then they have Jordan Hargrove, who has over 700 receiving yards. That's a 3 wide receiver set. We haven't seen anything like that this year. And running back Logan Namath, me and Tom were talking about it before. He's 5'9", 5'10", around 195, 200 pounds. He's speedy. He's got that speed. So obviously, and then rounded out Therese Scott at quarterback under center. This offense has everything. He's a dual threat, Scott is. He has over 3,000 passing yards, almost 1,000 rushing yards. Obviously, we have Ayrton Scott in the MIAC, but he's nowhere close to where Therese Scott is. And obviously, Joey Sonnenfeld is a good wide receiver, but like I said, he's only 1 wide receiver. We haven't seen an offense like this. Like I said, if I was going to compare it, it'd probably be something like Augsburg, but times 10.
Right, sure. And, you talk to Therese Scott, he's also got a rush attack. If you bring the pressure and he finds a way out of there and there's empty coverage, I think the Purple Raiders can be able to get some good quarterback rushing yards this weekend.
Well, Jake, and another thing, too, is Caruso always talked about the depth of this team being more than the depth of that 2012 team. I'm looking at our defensive backs who have played. Bennett Selahowski, Jordan Young, Trace Adams even mixed in there with Isaac Searing. We have a pretty deep group of defensive backs to combat that 3 wide receiver
Who,
set.
might add, were really challenged by Linfield, who had a spread, fast-paced, sort of West Coast passing attack.
Exactly. We've seen a little bit of everything this year. We've seen the high-flying Gustavus offense that we shut down. We saw the dual-threat Augsburg defense that we shut down. We saw the heavy running attacks with St. John's and Wabash that we shut down. But this is a totally different experience because, they do. It's the best of both worlds rolled into one team.
It's literally Augsburg, Gustavus, and St. John's all rolled into one. So it'll be very interesting. Yeah, MIAC All-Star team. That's pretty much what it is.
Hold on, guys. I'm getting breaking news. Sources are telling me Mount Union's really good. Just in on the wire.
So, all right, guys. So we've heard the prognosticating and the analysis. Gentlemen, who do you got?
Jake, I don't want to be a homer here, but I got St. Thomas 27-17. I think I'm pretty confident in that.
27-17?
27-17, I'll take that.
I think Mount Union hasn't seen a back like Jordan Roberts, and he's going to be a force, at least I think so, to reckon with. And I think this defense has a chance to stop the Mount Union offense, so I'm saying 24-21. Maybe a last-second field goal by Paul Grepner as the fans rush the field.
Sure.
How about you, Jake?
Well, I think if we can come out there and really punch them in the mouth, get out to a good start, I think we'll have a really good chance. And I think Glenn Caruso's really built for this situation. I think he's a championship coach. So I'm going to have to say Tommies. I think they have it this year. I think if there's anything we've learned from this year, we get better as we go on in our games, or the Tommies do. The fourth quarter, third and fourth quarter, second half is where we perform our best. So who's not to say we can't learn from our last trip to the Stagg Bowl and come away with this one. So I would say it's going to be about a 21-30-ish sort of situation. Hard to say, though.
They don't have to play a perfect game, but they have to play pretty darn good to beat this Mountain Union
absolutely.
team.
It's 4 quarters of good football. Absolutely. So thank you for joining us. Be sure to check Tommie Media for the latest campus news and full coverage of St. Thomas sports. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And check the site for full coverage of the Stagg Bowl from Salem, Virginia. For Tom Pitzen, I'm Jesse Krull. I'm Jake Remes. We'll see you next time in Tommie Media's Tommie Chalk Talk.